G'day guys, Josh here. I wanted to talk about something that really came up, during the race, especially towards the limit as well, which was the mental health impact of day rating. So day rating, a lot of people question it. A lot of people said they could have weak mental health and stuff like that. And I'll just tell you a few things. Day rating is one of the most mentally draining things there is, especially if you're not killing bosses, and especially if you're around the same percent every single time, whether or not you're actually making any progress or not. It can be very, very tilting. And not to mention as well, if you can be playing from behind as well, especially when the other guild's going somewhere in their ahead and you're just stuck at the same boss and nothing's going anywhere, and it's very, very demoralizing. And like I say, right now, it's probably a lot easier being in the frontal position of the race and getting progress than it is being behind and day rating and getting absolutely nowhere, and you're whacking your head against a brick wall effectively. Now, overall, I've seen a lot of MMO champion posters who are known for their 2 IQ takes, and I sit here being like, mate, you can just tell the people in here who has never ever day rated in their life. I mean, I day rated back in MOP and Kata, and I gotta say that was one of the most mentally draining stuff, especially if you're not getting any sponsorship behind or might not even get paid for it, and you're skipping 2 to 3 weeks off work for mostly just a ego stroke of getting world first or getting high up in the world and anything like that. Now, the program's now different, obviously, with there's money involved, there's a lot of orgs involved since then, and the Raiders are treated like basically, well, they're fed certain things, they have the meals cooked for them. Um, they have a lot of other things prepared for them, essentially, for said race, compared to what it was previously, where, it's definitely prehistoric compared to where it is now, where, you got multiple splits, you got trading loot, you got all that stuff as well. Now, the mental aspect hasn't changed because you can still raid 16 hours a day. And not to mention as well, some people could be homesick, but forget that for now. But you're doing your job 16 hours a day for let's say 3 or 4 weeks. Now, Mythic Crunch being 3 weeks, particularly when you're under pressure in a race where you are expected to place at least in the top 2 or even win the world first race, being Liquid or Echo. Like, you guys don't realize how much pressure is being put on these players. Like, you guys would be like, oh, you should harden up the professionals, blah, blah, blah. You're the sort of people that people don't like, okay? The people who are your stars and your models, actually, they don't like you because you expect a higher standard for them compared to what you put yourself as, okay? And that's very unfair to the professionals, where you feel like you can attack them for not being high enough standard, even though you would, if you were there, you would not have those standards, those kind of things. Like, it's called being a hypocrite. Now, people talk about a few things. Max calling the raid and getting back to home set up early. I think that's a good move because Paragon did the exact same thing when they were going nowhere on Blackrook Foundry. I mean, you can tell a lot of these players have never played since WOD, okay? Paragon did the exact same thing. It just wasn't more publicized. They stopped raiding for the day and they just went back to normal and just killed it in their own time. They stopped day raiding. Simple example. I mean, like, and also not to mention, it's the exact same circumstances. They were getting nowhere. Their progress was crap. Everyone's morale's down. They called it for today and went in the next day. Simple. Easy example. If you think Liquid have got a weak mental mindset because of that, there's a lot of other guilds that would have done the exact same thing. And there's a lot of other leadership groups that would have done the exact same thing as well. Would have called it a day, come the next day with fresh faces and stuff like that. It's just a normal team bonding exercise. Well, not bonding exercise, but a normal team exercise. Like that, if it's not working out, then rather than just keep grinding your players to a pulp, just call it for a day and let them rest and refresh and go back into it. Given the fact that they're not going to get world first, world second, world third, world fourth, world fifth are pretty much all the same at this stage. Okay, they're pretty much all the same because it's not world, you're not world first. Now, some people will be like, "Oh, I hope Liquid drops them and stuff like that," and I'm like, mate, you don't want Team Liquid bowing out the WoW scene this early, okay? You do not want Team Liquid bowing out the WoW scene this early, okay? It'll be very disappointing if they do, okay? Because it means that WoW is going downhill as an esport. Now, would we like complexity back? Yeah. If we have both complexity and Team Liquid back, it would be amazing, okay? So just be aware of that. If you feel like they should drop the org, that's it. Not a good thing, okay? Not a good thing at all. Now, next one was someone said Max was making all these comments about European frogs and how they'll beat them. You guys realize that both Echo and Liquid are very good friends, right? Like, a lot of the players, interchangeably play with them, vice versa, for different events. So that's completely and utterly false, okay? Like, he may have did said that, but he was just hamming it up for entertainment value, okay? He loves those guys in Echo, okay? probably no ill will between those two orgs. I mean, look how quickly the Genji stuff was resolved very, very quickly about the Divine Stars not hitting and stuff like that. Resolved incredibly quickly, okay? That sort of thing. And also you can tell how, under pressure a lot of these guilds are for these world first races. They're under a lot of pressure. Now, next one people keep crying about as well. Like I say, it seems like people got a hard on for Max for some reason. But it just seems like the mental aspect of it. I did Kata and Mop Dayraiding. We did it for 2 weeks and almost broke the guild apart in Ascension. We had a big meeting about it towards the end of the 2 weeks where we were going to go for another hardcore week or not. And basically we said, no, it's going to tear the guild apart. We should go back to normal raiding hours. I don't think people can continue raiding 14 and 16 hour days. We went back to normal. And, I think we killed Shexar eventually. Because we were on Shexar and we were just burning out because we didn't have the disc priest for it. And, we just went back to normal schedule as well. During Christmas, I think we did a few 16-hour days to kill Shah. We did kill Shah in the end before it. And, that's pretty much it. It can break guilds apart. It is very, very stressful raiding 16-hour days. We're only having a lunch and dinner break and maybe a breakfast break as well. Basically me personally, I felt really tired. Every day I'd wake up, raid, lunch, raid, dinner, raid, bed, and then do the same thing over and over again. Fortunately, it was uni holidays, but geez, it drained the hell out of me. When I went out to when I went out to my friend's party afterwards, when I got the night off, because trust me, you don't get nights off very easily. We had a healer in there to replace me for that night. I was just dead at that party. I was just so out of energy, and I was just literally relaxing. Literally, my body was trying to recover. Now, straight up what Max said about, the mental morale and stuff like that, yeah, that could be a good reason why you call your raid and go back home. Not to mention as well, the setup for Liquid, that hotel, it was shutting on Monday, regardless. They couldn't get it anymore. I mean, they already had a secondary backup plan. The casters were feeling a lot of fatigue as well regarding the race. I mean, if you saw on the Liquid channels, a lot of fatigue as well. It's not an easy job being on camera 16 hours, expected to go full bolt. And, just the vibe wasn't there. If the vibe isn't there, you just got to call it, okay? Now, to all the fucking backseat raiders and stuff like that, raid leaders, thing like that, who are saying, Max is a wuss, Max should be dumped because of this. Mate, I think Max, if Max kept going and kept grinding his players out, he should have been dumped 100%, okay? The fact that he backed this one up is a good leadership move from Max, okay? If Scrap had the same situation that Max had, he probably would have done the exact same thing, okay? And I would have done the exact same thing as a raid leader. I'd have said, don't worry about it, don't bother, we got to get out. Now, on the other hand, there was another thing about FD Bubbler, from ex-Guild from Limit. I gotta say, with what he said, I would say there's some truth to it, that some players do play for themselves and not for the raid team. But I gotta say, most of his other crap, just ignore it. He doesn't. I gotta say right now, he's just, I gotta say, given that he's all happy that he left the guild and suddenly he's not happy after it as well. Bitter ex-girlfriend kind of thing. I'm gonna say that, don't listen to it. I know a lot of these drama feeders are gonna be on it and kind of hinge to every single word because, seemingly MMO champion has a vendetta against Max. Just leave it be. Don't pay attention to it. At the end of the day, it was a good decision by Max to just drop it off. Mental health is draining. On 16-hour raids, on day raiding, it is very, very draining. Some of these guilds that go back to 3-hour, 4-hour nights are not doing it because people have to go back to work, because it's absolutely tiring. I mean, imagine focusing on one task purely for 16 hours a day, no weekends or anything like that, okay? I mean, unions would cut sick if people were working 16-hour days every day, every week. I mean, if you look at real life, for example. So, you can't treat, you can't be like, real life's different. Nah, it isn't. It's still intense work. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for listening to my chat about, the whole limit stuff. Mental health is a pretty serious thing. It's not, I don't think they're using it as an excuse. I think a lot of players were quite drained. The talent on the scene were quite drained as well. And I think you guys should take it from a pro, ex-pro at WoW rating and, really hardcore raider as well, that it is quite taxing, it is quite draining. Okay, you're just looking for the end of the tier so you can have your nice relaxation, 1 or 2 night raids, and that's it, okay? That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you thought this was awesome. Bye.